Hey fam, welcome to Choppy Waters, your go-to for crazy and unbelievable travel stories. Each episode, we're diving into real-time discussions and sharing those you-had-to-be-there moments. So buckle up. Choppy Waters isn't just a name, it's a promise. This is Choppy Waters, with your host, Siobhan and Brandon.
So we noticed in the video you stated that some of the activities were closed because you guys were still in port. So
yes.
how did that affect you guys?
It was a little, it did affect us. And I was and not just me, other people on board was a little bit, there was conversations happening. Well, one for sure, like the casino is obviously a spot, you know what I mean? Whether you're gambling or not, you might want to go in there and, maybe throw a couple bucks here and there, but also the fun shops were all closed. That's something I didn't understand. I didn't understand that. I'm actually like, what is going on here? But I guess because it's all like tax-free or duty something, like it has to be closed. But a lot of people were fuming about it. People were having conversations. The guest services line was, like all wrapped the way around.
Yeah, it was.
It was crazy. And I was a little annoyed by it. I was annoyed by it because I was like, well, that's gonna be a big problem.
Yeah, I don't know if this is. We should tell them I know that's one of the things people were really asking in the comments, but they were saying like, what did Carnival do for us? Like, if we were compensated or something.
Yes.
You want to tell them how much
Carnival is paying for it in this vlog. They will pay for it. They didn't do nothing.
We're leaving that in. That's a clip.
They did nothing for us. Parker's the most, listen, nobody wants anything for free. You know what I mean? Right. We know price for something like that. We know we paid on board. But the most disrespectful thing I found about Carnival, and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, and that's okay. But, I meant it when I said Carnival's going to pay for it. I mean, they had the audacity to refund us. And we have the screenshots too, so we can back this up. There's no need to, bash us in the comments or whatever.
Right.
Have questions, but Parkers, they refunded us 48 cents each. each.
48 cents?
48 cents each.
Right now.
48 cents for myself, 48 cents for Bianca, 48 cents for the baby. I got the screenshots. I can show you.
Yeah. So that answers that. And
I was
just like flabbergasted right now. 48 cents each. 48 cents.
I don't even know how they calculated that. Did they do like the time divided by seconds? I don't know how they got that.
I don't know how they come to that.
The taxes, fees, I don't know.
So I was going to ask, like, what was that taxes or fee? Like, what was the 48 cent?
Brandon, it said reimbursement.
That's all
of taxes. Reimbursement, 48 cents each. I mean, I got a little excited because I thought it said $40.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, Lord,
that would have been
thank
something.
you for all I'm thinking. I'm thankful whether you give it to me or not, but I'm happy.
Right.
Like Carnival's doing it big. They're really trying to, change the narrative. And I looked closer and it was 48 cents. I said, this is a joke. This has got to be a joke.
So for comparison, we were just on the Celebrity Beyond last week and we had to miss a port on Bimini because of weather.
Yes.
How much more were we refunded?
$51 each.
Oh my.
So for comparison's sake.
Yeah.
Do you know where to go now?
So knowing that you guys got not even a whole, less than $1.50 back for your family, how do you feel knowing that the voyage before you guys, they received up to $200 to help with flights because they got in port so late? They were compensated $200 each passenger.
Wow. I mean, that I did not know. I mean, so that right there is a little, I'm trying to say this without being shame on Carnival. I'm upset behind it because if they got almost $600 or $200 per room, $200 per person, you have 4 in a room, that's $800.
Yeah.
So that would have been $600 back, which would have been nice.
Right.
I'm upset about it.
Yeah, especially because
I have no idea.
People were like sending us messages on Instagram and commenting. They were like, oh, you guys, like when you get home, call them, call customer service. You guys they're probably gonna give you a free cruise. Like people were like just hyping it up in the comments. And I told Christian, I'm like, they got things confused because people are under the impression like we got like a free cruise out of this experience.
Right.
And We got the 48 cents. That's about it.
Yeah.
So what people do not realize, and I'll go ahead and take up for you guys on this part, your cruise still sailed. And from a cruise line perspective, they abided by your contract because they still sailed. Now, the inconvenience part, I 1,000% believe that you guys should have been compensated some kind of way. Even onboard credits, sometimes you can even compensate with that because you guys still had a sailing moving forward. But yes, your sailing was disrupted, so at least give us something. But in their minds, just thinking from Carnival's perspective, your cruise still left the port. It may not have left when it was supposed to, but the cruise still left the port. So for people that, you know, say, oh, they're going to give you something for free, that's not always the case. And I highly encourage everybody, and I know I say this because I don't do it myself, but we are in the times where we need to read those contracts.
Do as I say.
Do as I say, not as I do. Read those cruise contracts, because unfortunately, they will tell you, even when it comes down to missing ports, you know, they have the right to adjust the itinerary just in case something happens, and that's on their behalf. But absolutely, this was not a storm issue. This was not a we couldn't dock issue. This was, there's something wrong with your ship.
Right.
And there's continuously something wrong with your ship since the ship's inaugural sailing. Even 3 months out from the inaugural sailing, they were having issues with this ship. So this is not anything new. Fix the issue so you can stop disappointing not only your passengers who's paid all this money to cruise on your cruise line, but also make it fair if you're going to delay them or make things difficult. You guys had a difficult boarding day. Like, it was very difficult. And not only that, y'all had a baby. There's, like you said, there was people who, you know, elderly people who needed assistance, or people with disabilities, or people that were frustrated just like you guys were, and to not be compensated, that kind of, I can understand how you guys feel, you know, the way that you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we still made the ports, like, I was grateful for that, right? I was grateful for that. You know what I mean? I think my biggest thing with them was there was a lot of just people that were upset, you know, and I get it. You know, I see it from both sides. Like, I can see it from their other side, but I can see it from a guest perspective too, being that we are, because if you're like solely going on the cruise to gamble and get the seating time and the points, you were not able to get that from the hours p.m. to 3 a.m. That's a 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and that's perspective. And I did speak to a few guests on board, you know, but the fact that we were still able to make our spot, like our spot times at the ports was okay. But I will say this, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think that they fixed the issue. I don't think they fixed it.
Oh, gosh.
You can tell by the funnel stack, only one is blowing smoke.
I was going to ask because I was watching the video and I saw that you brought that up, that only one side of the funnel was working. And then also that there was condensation on the ceiling underneath the pool deck. So I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, it was interesting. I don't mean to jump aboard. It's like that.
No, it was funny that when there was a crew member walking by, and right after we filmed that clip of the water leaking from our floor, he let the crew member know, and he was the guy who was like so nonchalant and sweet, and he was just like, yeah, that's always like that. Yeah. And I think my face just dropped. Like, I looked at Christian and I was just speechless. I'm like, wow. Like, these crew members are just used to like living and working. Not only do they live on the ship, they work there. And these are unsafe environments, not only for the guests, but for them. So we were just kind of, wow, that just said it all to me. You know, that's all I needed to know about the ship.
I'm going to go back a little bit. Did they change the itinerary at all because of issues?
No, they did. No, the ports were all the same.
But
they did adjust the time.
Yeah, we left.
Yeah, I think we left Amber Cove at 2:30.
It was like 2:00 boarding time, ship time. We had to be back on.
Yeah, it was early. I've never seen that at Amber Cove. Maybe you guys could tell us something
Remember,
different.
we got to one of them super late. Was it Grand Turk that we got there like 11? Was it 11 a.m.?
It was one of them. I think it was Grand Turk. We got there at 11 o'clock.
By the time we got off the ship, it was probably like 12 or 1 or something. So,
do you know what the call times were supposed to be for those?
I believe Amber Cove was 5:30.
Back on board, yeah.
Back on board, yeah. 5:30. You know, I believe it was, you know, it was
and we even asked the people that worked at the port, like at the restaurants and stuff, and Amber Cove. The guy was like telling us, he's like, yeah, like this ship usually leaves at 5:30. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just us that's kind of finding it strange that why we're leaving at 2:00. And like I said, even when we sailed away the next following morning, which was Monday morning, like there was no announcement made. And then somebody said, oh, well, they didn't want to wake people up with the announcement. Okay, well, how are the guests supposed to know what's going on? There's no update.
Right.
Even throughout the day, there was no like, listen, we want to update the guests on what's going on with the engine issues. Nothing like that was ever told to us. So
I have found when things go wrong on Carnival, they have a big communication problem.
They go real quiet.
Yeah, they have a communication problem.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see any like repairs at all being made on the ship, or did you feel like a difference in speed on the ship or anything?
Yeah, I mean, so Parker's, the thing is, like, once we took off, I mean, because it's really hard, right? Because I've never been on that kind of ship, but I knew something was up from the moment I woke up. I'm like, something ain't right here. Definitely moving. It was like, you know what, Parker's, it was like a vibration, like. Like you could feel the boat just like tugging along. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously when I finally made it out, we weren't taping then. I'm looking up at that funnel, that's, you know, that their exhaust, and I'm looking like Bianca, like, what's going? Only one of them's burning smoke. And she's like, well, that's how. No. They're both supposed to exhaust out.
Yes.
And, oh gosh, they didn't fix it.
Yeah, we were praying at that point for sure. We were like, God, please, like, just keep us protected. And
then he did say, like, in one of his speeches, like, about, like, you know how they tell you about the weather? Okay, Carnival family, blah, 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 blah. We are going about 14 miles an hour or something, or knots, whatever. And I'm like, 14? Don't they max out at 20? I thought they max.
Yeah, I just learned that one.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, buddy, you're going 14. We just lost 12, 13 hours when you're going 14. You know, and I think too, like I was telling Bianca, you guys, like you guys are vloggers, you guys are content creators, so you guys will know if the ship 14 miles an hour is obviously not cruising speed, so something's going on. So you're doing speed for 12 or 18 hours. Clearly, there's a problem. But you know, people were just, once they got out of sea, people were just starting to drink and have fun and paid it no mind.
Right.
So outside of the first day, what was the onboard kind of spirit? Like, how was the vibe on board once everything y'all left port? How was the vibe on board? Did you notice any change in the passengers?
There was a few people. Like there was quite a few people. Like I was walking around, I was taping and stuff like that. They stopped me. Oh, what are you doing? I was telling them blah, and they were upset. And they were asking me, do you know if they're going to refund us? And I'm like, I have no idea. Because at this point, I'm still waiting on 48 cents. And, you know, and I said, I had no idea. But they were very upset. Matter of fact, we spoke to a woman, Parker's, and she had stuff written down on a paper.
Yeah.
She said when she got back to land, she's calling Carnival. She wants some type of her money back. The experience was just terrible. It's not fair that her trip was impacted, and you know she came to shop and you know and gamble and those kind of situations, and they shouldn't have felt the disruption. She says she could understand an act of God, but can't understand why they didn't try to make a situation right for a propulsion engine issue. And she was very vocal. I mean, she made it really clear. I mean, on a couple times we ran into her that her intention was to get back here and call them up. And that if they didn't fix it, she was calling American Express. She was disputing this, and she'll fight it in court if she has to. Like this lady was.
Oh wow. Oh, she was about her business.
Yes.
And people like that usually
get what they want.
There's usually some type of resolution. Yeah. Like maybe like they'll meet them halfway. Like they won't go above and beyond, but they'll meet those type of people halfway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to learn more about our first guests, Chris and Bianca from Endless Cruises, make sure you head over to Instagram and YouTube and follow their accounts.
And that's all for this episode of Choppy Waters. We hope you enjoyed this wild ride through the craziest stories in travel. Your support means the world to us. If you can't get enough of our travel drama, head over to YouTube and watch the full video version of this podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us make each episode even better than the last. Until next time, stay safe out there in those choppy waters.